There's one animal that never fails to make people smile, the quokka. This little marsupial from Australia looks like it was born to be happy. Its round cheeks, tiny black nose, and sparkling eyes create the perfect cheerful face. Its mouth naturally curves into a smile, making it look like the most joyful creature in the world. And the best part? It's not just the way they look. Quokkas really are friendly, curious, and full of charm. Quokkas live on a few islands off the coast of Western Australia, including Rottnest Island, where they've become famous. They hop around on strong hind legs just like their relatives, kangaroos. Their front paws are tiny, almost like little hands which they use to hold food. They love munching on leaves and plants, often nibbling in the cutest way possible. People travel from all over just to see them up close, and quokkas seem to love the attention. They have no fear of humans and will often hop right up to visitors, tilting their heads as if they're posing for a photo. Some even stretch out their tiny paws toward cameras, making for the most adorable selfies. Even in the wild, they're full of personality. They chase each other through the grass, roll onto their backs like playful puppies, and sometimes even wink. Their joyful expressions have made them a symbol of happiness around the world. They don't have natural predators on their island homes, which means they can live freely without fear, adding to their carefree nature. Some animals look like they've jumped straight out of a fairy tale. The fennec fox is one of them. Its enormous ears, soft golden fur, and tiny delicate paws make it one of the most charming creatures in the animal kingdom. But those big ears aren't just for show. They help fennec foxes stay cool in the hot desert and give them incredible hearing, allowing them to pick up the faintest sounds of insects and rodents moving under the sand. These little foxes, no bigger than a house cat, are full of energy. They bounce around like tiny acrobats, leaping high into the air and pouncing on anything that moves. Even when they sit still, their bright, curious eyes dart around, always watching, always alert. And when they rest, they curl up into a tiny ball, their fluffy tails wrapping around them like a built-in blanket. Despite their wild nature, fennec foxes have a sweet and social side. They live in small family groups, cuddling together in burrows they dig deep into the sand. Their soft, high-pitched chirps sound more like birds than foxes, adding to their unique charm. When they tilt their heads in that impossibly cute way, with their oversized ears twitching, it's impossible not to smile. But if small, delicate animals are your thing, there's another creature that might just steal your heart. Unlike the energetic fennec fox, it spends most of its time floating peacefully underwater, looking as if it never outgrew its baby phase. Some animals are cute because of their fluffy fur or big eyes, but the axolotl proves that even tiny amphibians can be just as endearing. This little aquatic creature looks like it's permanently smiling, with tiny round eyes and soft feathery gills that fan out from the sides of its head. It never fully grows up, staying in its baby-like form for life, making it one of the most unique creatures in the world. Axolotls glide through the water with slow, graceful movements. Their small, paddle-like feet look almost too tiny for their bodies, and when they stretch out their little arms, it seems like they're waving. They come in soft pastel shades, from pale pink to golden yellow, and even a rare dark variety that blends in with the riverbed. They have an almost magical ability to regrow lost limbs, making them seem like little underwater superheroes. Despite their delicate look, they are surprisingly tough. They hunt by sensing movement in the water, snapping up small prey with a quick, almost playful motion. But there's nothing fierce about them. Their tiny mouths, which seem to form a permanent grin, make them look endlessly cheerful. Watching an axolotl float lazily in its watery home is oddly soothing, like looking at a tiny underwater daydream. But if soft fur and fluffy faces are what truly melt your heart, then let's head from the water to the mountains, where one of the most lovable creatures on earth lives, a baby alpaca. If you ever wanted to see an animal that looks like a living plush toy, look no further than a baby alpaca. These soft, woolly creatures look like a mix between a baby deer and a cloud. Their thick, curly fur makes them look twice their actual size, and their long eyelashes give them the sweetest, gentlest expression. But what really makes them adorable is their slightly clumsy, bouncy way of moving. Alpacas live in the high mountains, but they seem completely unaware of how graceful they should be. Baby alpacas, known as crias, are especially goofy. They hop around on their long, wobbly legs, sometimes tripping over their own feet, only to get up and try again like nothing happened. They love to run, chasing each other in circles, their soft fur bouncing with every step. When they stop, they often tilt their heads slightly, their round faces full of curiosity. They may look elegant, but their playful behavior is full of charm. They hum softly to communicate with their mothers, a gentle sound that makes them even more endearing. And when they snuggle up with their herd, their fluffy bodies pressed together like a pile of stuffed animals, it's hard not to fall in love. But if we're talking about animals that look like living teddy bears, there's one that might just take the crown, the red panda. Some animals look so soft and cuddly that it's hard to believe they're real. The red panda is one of them. With its round face, fluffy tail, and rust-colored fur, it looks like a mix between a tiny fox, a raccoon, and a plush toy. But this adorable creature is in a category of its own. Native to the forests of the Himalayas and China, red pandas spend most of their time high up in the trees, curled around branches like fuzzy little acrobats. Their faces are full of expression, with big round eyes that always seem to be watching something interesting. Their thick, bushy tails help them balance, but they also double as blankets when the weather gets cold. Watching a red panda climb is mesmerizing. They move with careful, deliberate steps, using their sharp claws to grip tree trunks. But when they get excited, they can suddenly burst into playful energy, rolling around in the snow or wrestling with each other like kittens. Despite their wild nature, red pandas have a sweetness that makes them impossible to resist. They sit on their hind legs, holding food in their tiny paws, nibbling on bamboo with the focus of a miniature bear. When they stretch out on a branch for a nap, their fluffy tails wrapped around them, they look like something straight out of a storybook. If soft fur and gentle eyes are what make an animal cute, then the red panda is one of the best examples. But when it comes to pure, playful happiness, there's one animal that might just steal the spotlight: a golden retriever puppy. There's something about golden retriever puppies that makes them impossible to ignore. Maybe it's their soft, fluffy fur, their big, eager eyes, or the way their tails never stop wagging. Everything about them radiates happiness. These puppies seem to have endless energy, running, jumping, and rolling around like they're experiencing joy for the very first time. Even the way they trip over their own paws is adorable. Golden retrievers are known for being friendly, but as puppies, their excitement is on another level. They greet everyone with full-body enthusiasm, their tails wagging so hard that their whole back ends wiggle. They love to play, whether it's chasing after a ball, tumbling around with other dogs, or pouncing on leaves as if they're the most exciting thing in the world. And when they're tired, they flop down into the funniest sleeping positions, sometimes on their backs with their paws in the air, sometimes curled into a tiny golden ball. But their best feature is their personality. Golden retriever puppies are naturally affectionate. They follow their favorite people around, sit on laps even when they're too big, and give the softest, sweetest nose boops. Their eyes are always full of love, as if they just can't believe how wonderful life is. Few things in the world bring as much happiness as a golden retriever puppy, but if you're looking for something even smaller, even more delicate, then let's take a closer look at a creature that seems too tiny to be real: the dik-dik. Some animals are so tiny and delicate that they seem like they belong in a fantasy world. The dik-dik is one of them. This miniature antelope, no bigger than a small dog, looks like it was designed to be adorable. Its long, slender legs, tiny hooves, and big, round eyes make it look like a real-life Bambi. But its most charming feature? The way it moves, light, graceful, almost like it's floating. Dik-diks live in the grasslands of Africa, where their small size helps them hide from predators. They are shy creatures, often spotted in pairs, sticking close to their mates. When they feel nervous, they freeze for a moment, their ears twitching, before suddenly darting away in a quick zigzag, their tiny hooves barely touching the ground. Their name comes from the soft, high-pitched sound they make, a little squeak that adds to their delicate charm. But despite their small size, they have big personalities. They nibble on leaves with careful little bites, their noses twitching in the most endearing way. Their soft brown fur blends in with the grass, but their large, expressive eyes make them stand out. Watching a dik-dik up close feels like watching a character from a children's book come to life. If you thought cute animals had to be big and fluffy, the dik-dik proves that even the tiniest creatures can be just as heart-melting. Baby otters. These little water-loving creatures are full of energy, always splashing, diving, and wrestling with each other. But their most heart-melting habit? They hold hands while floating on their backs, making sure they don't drift apart. Covered in thick, soft fur, baby otters are like tiny, fluffy swimmers built for life in the water. Their webbed feet make them fast and agile, and their tiny paws are surprisingly skilled at grabbing onto things. Whether it's a shell, a fish, or a sibling's tail, they love using their hands. They groom themselves constantly, rubbing their fur to keep it waterproof, sometimes rolling around as if they're having the best time ever. When they're not busy playing, they cuddle up with their mothers, wrapping themselves in floating kelp to stay in place. Watching a baby otter drift peacefully on its back, holding onto another otter's paw, is one of the sweetest sights in nature. Their little faces peek out of the water, eyes full of curiosity, noses twitching with excitement, and when they let out their tiny squeaks, it's impossible not to fall in love. But if fluffy, round animals are your thing, there's another creature that might just top the cuteness scale: the Japanese dwarf flying squirrel. The Japanese dwarf flying squirrel is one animal that might just be the most huggable of them all: the Chow Chow puppy. Some dogs look like they were designed to be hugged, and Chow Chow puppies are at the top of that list. With their thick, fluffy coats and round, squishy faces, they look like living teddy bears. But the cutest thing about them, their tiny, serious expressions. Even as puppies, they have a regal look, as if they're already wise beyond their years. Chow Chows are famous for their lion-like manes, but when they're young, they just look like little balls of fur with short, stubby legs. They waddle when they walk, their fluffy tails bouncing with every step. And when they sit down, they often plop onto their bottoms like tiny stuffed animals that have lost their balance. Their fur is so thick that their little ears almost disappear into their heads, making them look even rounder. But the most surprising thing about a Chow Chow puppy? Its tongue. Unlike most dogs, Chow Chows have blue or purple tongues, a rare trait that makes them even more unique. They may look like soft, cuddly toys, but they have a calm and independent nature. They love their people, but they also have a dignified attitude, as if they know they're something special. Watching a Chow Chow puppy play is like watching a tiny bear cub exploring the world for the first time, and when they curl up into a fluffy ball for a nap, it's impossible not to want to snuggle right next to them. Some birds are elegant, some are powerful, and some are just downright adorable. Puffins belong to the last category. With their round bodies, short wings, and colorful beaks, they look like tiny feathered clowns. Their beaks are the most striking feature, painted in shades of orange, yellow, and blue during the breeding season, making them one of the most eye-catching birds in the world. Puffins may look a little awkward on land, waddling around on their bright orange webbed feet, but in the air and water, they are surprisingly skilled. Their wings beat rapidly as they fly just above the ocean, and when they dive, they become tiny torpedoes, using their wings to swim underwater in search of fish. Watching a puffin return to its burrow with a beak full of fish, its little feet kicking up the sand as it lands, is a sight that never gets old. Despite their clownish appearance, puffins are hardworking parents. They dig cozy nests into cliffs and take turns caring for their single egg. When the chick hatches, it's covered in fluffy gray down, looking like a tiny puffball. Puffins spend most of their time at sea, but when they gather on coastal cliffs, they create some of the cutest bird colonies in the world. Their tiny, determined waddles, their bright, curious eyes, and their playful nature make them one of the most lovable creatures in the ocean. But if slow, gentle cuteness is more your style, there's one animal that might just top them all: the baby sloth. These fuzzy little creatures move so slowly that even their yawns seem to happen in slow motion. But their sleepy pace is part of their charm. With big round eyes and tiny upturned mouths, they always look like they're smiling, making them one of the most heartwarming animals in the jungle. Sloths spend almost their entire lives hanging from tree branches, gripping tightly with their long, curved claws. Even as babies, they instinctively hold on to their mothers, clinging to their fur like tiny plush toys. When they do decide to move, it's with the most careful, deliberate motions, stretching out one arm, then the other, as if they have all the time in the world. Their fur is thick and slightly shaggy, often taking on a greenish tint from the algae that grows on it, helping them blend into the trees. Their calm, unbothered attitude makes them even more lovable. They don't panic, they don't rush, they just exist in a state of permanent relaxation. If they get tired in the middle of eating, they simply stop and take a nap. And when they slowly reach out to touch something, their little fingers curl in the most delicate way. Baby sloths prove that you don't need speed to be adorable. Sometimes the cutest things take their time, but if tiny animals are your thing, let's meet one that's small enough to fit in the palm of your hand, a teacup pig. It's as sweet as the honey it loves to eat. The kinkajou is one of them. With its round face, big dark eyes, and soft golden fur, it looks like a mix between a monkey, a raccoon, and a teddy bear. But it's not closely related to any of them. These playful little creatures spend their lives high in the trees, using their long, prehensile tails like an extra hand to swing from branch to branch. Kinkajous are nocturnal, meaning they wake up when the sun sets and spend the night exploring. Their tiny paws are incredibly nimble, able to grab onto branches, fruit, and even honeycombs. They love honey so much that they've earned the nickname honey bears. They use their long, narrow tongues to reach deep into flowers and beehives, slurping up the sweet nectar with pure delight. Despite their energetic nature, they have a gentle side. They curl up into fluffy balls when they sleep, tucking their tails around themselves like a cozy blanket. When they're awake, they chatter softly to each other, making high-pitched squeaks and coos. Watching a kinkajou move through the trees, pausing only to take a bite of fruit or sneak a taste of honey, is a reminder of just how playful and charming nature can be. Standing no taller than a small dog, this miniature deer looks like a plush toy that has come to life. With its big round eyes, tiny black nose, and short velvety fur, the pudu is one of the most precious creatures in the wild. Native to South America, pudas live in dense forests where their small size helps them stay hidden. They move quietly, stepping carefully through the underbrush, their delicate hooves barely making a sound. When startled, they don't run in a straight line like larger deer. Instead, they zigzag through the trees, making it harder for predators to catch them. But even when they're nervous, they never lose their gentle charm. Their oversized ears twitch at every sound, their tiny tails flicking as they watch the world with wide-eyed curiosity. One of the cutest things about pudas is the way they eat. They stretch their little necks upward, balancing on their hind legs to reach leaves and berries, their mouths moving in slow, careful bites. Their expressions always seem soft and innocent, as if they're discovering everything for the first time. Seeing one in the wild feels like spotting a mythical forest creature. The harlequin rabbit is all about color. With its striking patches of orange, black, white, and gray, no two are ever exactly alike. Its fur looks like a painter carefully placed each spot in the perfect position, creating a living masterpiece. But the real charm of this rabbit isn't just its beautiful coat, it's the personality that comes with it. Harlequin rabbits are playful and full of energy. They love to explore, hopping curiously around new spaces, their twitching noses taking in every scent. When they're excited, they perform sudden jumps and twists in the air, a move called a binky, showing just how happy they are. Their long ears, always alert, rotate in different directions like tiny radar dishes, making them even more expressive. But despite their energetic moments, Harlequin rabbits also have a calm, affectionate side. They enjoy gentle petting and will often stretch out their little legs, completely relaxed in the company of someone they trust. When they nibble on vegetables, holding them with their tiny paws, their round faces become even more lovable. Few things are as heartwarming as watching a rabbit carefully groom its ears, soft paws rubbing its face in the most delicate way. The ocean is home to some of the most fascinating creatures on Earth, but few are as adorable as the pygmy seahorse. At less than an inch long, this tiny marine animal is one of the smallest seahorses in the world. Its delicate curled tail wraps around coral, keeping it anchored as it sways gently with the current. Its tiny horse-like face, complete with a button-sized snout, gives it a charm unlike any other sea creature. What makes the pygmy seahorse even more special is its ability to blend in perfectly with its surroundings. It takes on the exact color and texture of the coral it lives on, making it almost impossible to spot. Some are covered in soft, bumpy textures that match pink or orange coral, while others have a smoother look to blend with seaweed. This natural camouflage helps them stay safe from predators, but it also makes them look like little works of art, carefully designed by nature. That's about it. Write in the comments which animal do you personally consider the cutest. For more useful information, watch other videos.